How y'all doing? I'm Paul Ryan, your host of the Across the Cowboys podcast. If you're new to the show, thank you for joining us. And to our regular listeners, welcome back. With me, as always, is my co-host, the greatest co-host in the world, Mike The Pig Crum. Mike, how are you?
I'm doing good, man. I'm anxious. I just kind of want to get these next 2 days over with and get to it. I'm gonna work tomorrow. Put the games on. At work, half-ass work, half watch the games tomorrow,
Yeah.
and then Sunday watch those games, and then work Monday, and then it's time. I'm ready to go. It's getting antsy, like I'm really, really, really ready to go. I want to get this game going.
Mike, outside of Monday night, I think Saturday has the best games for as far as playoffs go.
Can I tell you honestly, I have no idea what the schedule is.
All right, so
None.
tomorrow it's San Francisco, Seattle in the afternoon,
It's a good one.
Jacksonville Chargers at night, which is
That's a
really good.
really good game.
Then it's the Bills versus Skylar Thompson and the Dolphins. And then
Oh,
it's Minnesota and New York Giants, which will be a good one. And then it's Cincinnati Bengals versus Tyler Huntley and the Ravens.
so Sunday gets 3 games.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, Sunday games aren't all that great because the quarterback play,
exactly.
Ravens and Dolphins are well set behind. But what's the other one that day? What's the one good one on Sunday?
Minnesota and Giants.
That's
Dude,
not
if
like hell. They played a good game a few weeks ago. They played a good game that the guy had to hit a crazy field goal to win.
yeah,
I don't know. I have a strange feeling that Minnesota's going to have a nice playoffs.
yeah, I do too.
That they're going to have a nice. They were a good team, and everybody's just kind of like, oh, Giants will beat them this time, and it's like, well, I mean, Minnesota's good. Like they've been whooping on people. They won a
Yeah,
lot of games. And yeah, they had some losses in there that makes you go, oh boy, but it's not like Giants and Seahawks and Niners with Purdy are world beaters. Like I could
right.
see Minnesota making a NFC championship and playing, say Philly or Dallas winner. I totally could see that.
We're going to talk about a legacy here in a little bit, Mike. But can you imagine what a trip to the NFC Championship game would do for Kirk Cousins' legacy?
Oh, it'd be huge. Win a couple playoff games like that, especially with a team where, no, not people don't believe in it anymore. I know the record's
Yeah.
good, but like I've seen more people pick Giants than Minnesota this week.
Mm-hmm. It's a that the Vikings are a 3-point favorite. I kind of like that line. It's going to be a close game, man.
Yeah, I agree. Hey, we ought to add that. We ought to do our picks for all the playoff games at the end.
We can do that if you want to. That's fine with me.
Yeah, as long as you have all the games in front of you, because I don't remember them.
Yeah, I got you. I got you.
Yeah,
So,
let's
Mike,
do that.
I know we're antsy for the game. We're excited to have this discussion tonight. Let the people know where they can find you on Twitter.
At CD Piglet, guys, nice and easy.
Guys, I'm Paul Ryan. You can find me on Twitter at Paul_Ryan15. Mike, it's Friday the 13th tonight, and it's always a good night to watch movies. Some weird things seem to always happen on Friday the 13th. I feel like it's going to be a weird week, and some weird things might happen during the playoffs.
Man, it could. I'm hearing a lot more people than I expected pick Seattle, pick the Giants. AFC's pretty chalk because those young the Bills and Cincy with those quarterbacks and the other the opposing quarterbacks being hurt and everything, they're pretty
Yeah.
simple. But in the NFC, people know it's wide open and they're the picks are all over the place.
Dude, Brock Purdy's due for a bad game. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, it wouldn't surprise me at all. A division game like that, everybody, all week, Pete Carroll's gonna be like, "Hey, you don't belong here with them. They're the NFC champs already. You guys shouldn't even be in the play." They're gonna put that in. But this is what Pete Carroll does. He is a good motivating coach. He's not a scheme 'em up coach. He's a
Yeah.
motivator coach. And if let's see what quarterback keeps playing above our expectation. Nobody expected Purdy or Geno Smith to have the seasons they've had. let's see what happens. You never know. And none of them going to surprise me. The only games are Miami, Buffalo, and Cincinnati, Baltimore. Those are the only games where I'd be like, damn, the underdogs won those games. Otherwise, all of them are wide open.
Absolutely. And Mike, I mentioned that it was Friday the 13th. I know you're a big scary movie guy. Where does Friday the 13th land for you as far as kind of the villain, the bad guy, the scary guy? Jason Voorhees.
Jason Voorhees is good. He's my little brother's favorite. He loves Jason Voorhees. I'm a Freddy Krueger guy. I have him one. I would probably put guys like Vader, Voldemort ahead of him. Voorhees is the top 10. He's up there. He's good. I like him.
What about the movies, the series?
Definitely under the Nightmare on Elm Streets.
Oh, of course.
I have them above the Halloweens for the most part. You know, there's a few of the Jason, just like the Halloweens, there's a few of them that are like, yikes, like, you know, like,
bad.
Yeah, very bad. But I love Freddy versus Jason. It would be, I think I would I have Child's Play ahead of them? That's tough because I have Nightmare on Elm Street way ahead of everything else. Like there's not even, and then Scream, all Wes Craven, of course. That guy was a genius. And then after that, I think Friday the 13th would probably be the highest, but on a way lower tier. You know, it's like Mahomes, and then Brady and Rodgers are like the Scream, and Mahomes is Nightmare, and then like the Kirk Cousins, Daniel Jones, you know, they're in the playoffs, but they're not the same. But they're cool. That's the Friday the 13th in there.
Right. You know, I watched Halloween Ends for the first time a couple of weeks ago. Probably one of the worst movies I've ever seen.
The last one, right?
Yeah, dude.
Oh, terrible. And I liked the first two. I thought the first two were good.
Yeah.
And then this one comes out and it's like not about Michael Myers. I'm like, what happened? Like, no, the other guy.
So weird. Yeah.
I was like, not this guy. I don't care about him. I'm here for the masked one, from all the other movies. Can we get him in this movie? Like it was an hour in before you see Michael Myers. I'm like, what is happening right now? Like, yeah, it was not.
What's weird is if they didn't try to make that a Halloween movie, I think that could have been a good movie, like its own story. I think that was a good movie.
Yeah, it'd have been. Yeah, if it wasn't for the fact that we all went to it wanting Jamie Lee Curtis versus Michael Myers, and then we got some, sorry, dude, sorry you accidentally killed a kid, and you're kind of going through shit, but I don't care. Like I'm here for something else. I'm here for the other story. It's like, hey, let's watch Batman versus Superman. Then you go in there and it's like The Flash, and I'm like, hey, I like the Flash is cool and all, but I didn't come here for this.
Yeah,
it was weird. I was disappointing. I was super disappointing.
No, absolutely, I 100% agree, Mike. I hate the way that story ends there. But somebody you didn't mention the tier when you were ranking you. I don't know where this guy would be. Maybe he would be a Hellraiser. I know under beneath Freddy Krueger and Nightmare on Elm Street. But you look at Dak Prescott, Mike, and is Dak the best quarterback in this game?
Man, this is a real tough one. Brady this year, and he played every game. Only half of the first game, but he was in every game. Dak missed 5. He had 4,694 yards, 25 touchdowns, 9 picks, and a 90.7 QB rating. Dak was 2,860 yards, 23 touchdowns. We all know the 15 picks, 91.1 rating. They're honestly pretty even. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give the nod to the guy with 7 Super Bowls that's been there, done that.
Okay.
He's won one with Tampa. Very close call, but also durability matters. And Brady plays in every game and Dak misses games. So I'm going to give a slight nod to Brady, even though he has more of the weapons. He has way more to work with. Dak could easily be the answer here, not overall, but playing right now. But I mean, he is in some interception funk, and so I think it's okay to say, that Brady could get the nod here, and it's more on legacy because they're even for me. It's like a coin flip, but I'll give the nod to Brady. Close.
Yeah, Mike. No, if we're basing this off stats, then no. Obviously, Brady's resume, nobody can compete with that. No quarterback in history can compete with that, except for maybe a Joe Montana or somebody like that. But as far as talent and playing quarterback today with ability, I give the nod to Dak Prescott, man.
Well, it's funny too because I was like, okay, the stats are pretty similar for how many games they played. So I said, let me look at like the last 5 games. In the last 5 games, Brady's thrown 7 picks. Like he had his interceptions were like 0 against Carolina. He showed up big in that game. And then it was like 2-2-2-1. And I was like, well, damn, Brady's not even
protecting the ball.
Yeah. And then the last. So, man, you could flip a coin on that one. I think it's, it's hard to separate what Brady's done if it's that even. If one guy's played way and above, you just go, well, it doesn't matter what he's done. This guy's playing better. But when it's close, and then you're talking now playoffs, and he's won with this group at Tampa. He's won the Super Bowl with this group 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, like, on semantics, I would go Tom Brady. But it's pretty much a coin flip right now.
It really is. Looking at this game, Mike, how important is it? How important is this game for Dak's legacy?
I'm going to say it's very important because I think it's kind of a thing now. He gets in the playoffs. He plays really well against Green Bay, really well, like his best game. And they lost, Aaron Rodgers goes crazy at the end, makes a big play. They lose on a, long kick. And then I believe he won one and then the next year and then lost. And then I think the loss was where the Rams rushed or whatever. But Dak wasn't great. He didn't have the game he had against Green Bay. It was okay. The Seattle game was okay. He had that big run at the end, but he wasn't unbelievable. And then you look at the Niner game where he was not very good. That was the one game where it was okay, it wasn't his fault, but he also is the first time he didn't have a good game. And so it's kind of going backwards the other way. He started unbelievable. Then he won one in a game where he didn't play as well, but he won it. And he made the big, run to win it. And then the game where he outplayed the other quarterback, but the run game wasn't good. The defense wasn't good. They lost, but he was whatever. Then there's the Niner game where it's the O-line wasn't good. He didn't have too good of a game. He was clearly shooken by all the pressures. And that was a game that they went in as the better team and lost. When you went in at the time, they had a better record. It was just a bad matchup. The Niners wanted to beat Aaron Rodgers too, but at the time going in, a lot of people were on Dallas. And then this year, Tampa Bay is 8-9. They're not even 500. So, yeah, I'd say he needs to win this at least for the foreseeable future. Now, over the next 3 years, he gets to an NFC championship and wins a Super Bowl in the next 3-4 years. And no, it's not going to matter. But we're talking right now where he's at. Yeah, I think it's extremely important. He needs to beat the inferior team. Tampa Bay is not as good a team as Dallas. They should win. And I think he needs to win it for his legacy.
What's interesting about the playoff games, Mike, you talk about the Green Bay, the performance that he had. I mean, they were down by, 21 points in that first half to make that miraculous comeback. Then, you mentioned the big run against Seattle. I feel like he's the reason that Dallas won that game. But, him being 1-3, I feel like those 3 losses, I don't know how much of that falls on Dak. You know what I mean?
Almost none. Niners game a little bit, but man, his O-line was so bad.
And the defense was not good.
No, 22 pressures is crazy. That's ridiculous. Brady would have lost that. And honestly, they should have got blown out that game. Kyle Shanahan just coached a bad game because the defense was no good and the offensive line couldn't do anything. And yeah, I wouldn't put any of them on Dak. It's just the fact is still 1-3. Hasn't, probably should, was everybody went in thinking that, they're the better team than San Francisco at the time. And then now everybody's going into this one going, well, they are better than Tampa. Tampa's not even a 500 team, So I just think he needs to win. He already gets enough crap, and it's not like he gets it worse than Romo. Like, it's not just the fact that it's Dallas and it gets you ratings. Like, Romo was seen as way better than Dak as a quarterback. And so a big playoff win against the Bucs, a champion 2 years ago, a 7-time champion Brady, somebody finally beating Brady, breaking all those streaks of, 2 straight years of 12 wins. Hadn't happened since the 90s. Win a road playoff game. Hadn't happened since 92. 92. So breaking those kind of streaks would be big. So, yeah, I think he needs it.
Yeah. Going back to that question, Mike, how important is this game for Dak's legacy? I want to say this game doesn't matter because Dak has a lot of football left to play. But, man, to beat Brady on the road in the playoffs would hopefully give Dak respect from the critics, and most importantly, some of the fan base who still don't view him as a good quarterback. This game could do a lot for his legacy and just how fans perceive him, man.
I agree 100%. It could be a huge, at least for the year, even if for a week or two, depending on what he did the next round, and then everybody would go, well, they beat the under 500 team and then lost. But yeah, that's the thing. They need to win this one, because that way people can't do the under 500 team beat you,
Yeah. Is this a get the monkey off the back game, or is that not really until the divisional round, you think?
It could be. Let's see how they win.
Yeah. Okay, that's fair. So you know, sticking with this game and Dak's legacy, would a win do as much for Dak's legacy as much as a loss would hurt Dak's legacy, you think?
I think it would. What I talked about before, 92 was the last Cowboys road playoff win. He already broke the 12, 12 wins back-to-back seasons. He got to that. He was the majority quarterback for that. Getting that division win, beating Tom Brady, getting another game closer to 500 in the playoffs. Like, all that stuff is big time. So yeah, I think it would definitely move him up. It would at least start him up that hill.
Absolutely. Yeah, I was looking at the numbers, Mike, and with a win, Dak would tie Tony Romo's playoff wins with 2, and he would also tie Romo with appearances to the divisional round with 3. A loss would put Dak in really bad company. But if Dak were to lose this game, he would have the worst playoff record in Cowboys history.
Oh yeah, 1-4. Absolutely.
So you don't want to be that guy, man.
No, you don't. I 100% agree.
You kind of touched on it. I know the Tampa Bay Buccaneers were 8-9, the Cowboys 12-5, but are the Cowboys better than Tampa Bay?
Yeah, when I go through, I look quarterback, like we said, is pretty even. Maybe a slight edge towards Tom Brady all time. Maybe right now a slight edge towards Dak, but pretty even. We have the better running backs. O-line are both bad, but we probably have a little bit better one. Look at our run game, compared to theirs. They're last in the league. Their receivers are better, so they have that. Their linebackers are better. They have that. We have the better pass rushers. They have the better DTs. And I would say we have the better cornerbacks, because we do have Trayvon Diggs, at least one big-time playmaker. And then safeties, I know Winfield's great, but I mean, Wilson and Curse are underrated the last 2 years, and Hooker's a pretty good. He's above average safety. So I would say DTs, linebacker, wide receivers are the only areas where they're better than us. And in the areas we're better, like we're a lot like Tony Pollard, forget Zeke. Tony Pollard's a lot better than Leonard Fournette. He just is. They're last in the league. Pass rushers, not even close. Micah Parsons, 2-time All-Pro now. There. DeMarcus Lawrence, a killer. The Trayvon Diggs, having a lockdown guy, a guy that's shut down Mike Evans in 2 attempts against him. So yeah, I think they're a much better team than Tampa Bay. That doesn't mean that I like the matchup, though. But overall team playing everyone else, like forget playing each other. Dallas plays the same schedule as Tampa Bay. I expect Dallas to have many more wins than Tampa does.
So even with both the Tampa Bay's tackles being back, you still like our offensive line compared to theirs?
Well, like I said, I was more grading it against like a different opponent than matching up with us. Like, say we both played the Giants. Do I expect the Giants to dominate the Bucs offensive line more than us? Yes.
Yeah.
I think we're not a good offensive line, but they don't have a Zach Martin. They don't have a Biotish this year. Tyron has not been good on the right side, but he's been decent in pass protection. They have Tristan Wirfs, who's very good, but I don't think he's Zach Martin. And then everyone else is questionable, and we have a little bit less question.
Okay. Yeah, for me, Mike, when both teams are 100% healthy, I feel like Tampa Bay has the better overall team with the edge being at receiver. This Monday, I still think Tampa has better depth at key positions than Dallas. Again, the difference being at receiver.
Yeah, if they have Shaq Barrett and those guys like Nix and Veda or Vita Vea were healthy all year and they're ready to go and everything, I would say just like in week one, if you took Tampa Bay from week one and plugged them in here, they would be better. I just think this unit this kind of mass unit they got going on the offensive line and at the pass rush positions and in the defensive backfield is tough on them.
I thought, correct me if I'm wrong, Mark, but I thought Vita Vea and Nix were expected back along with Logan Ryan and Carlton Davis.
They're all playing, but they're not the Knicks. And the Bucs are giving up 120 rushing yards a game. Yeah, if Vita Vea and Hicks were 100%, that would not be happening.
I got you. Well, hey, I'll take your word for it, Mike, because I was looking at it and, man, when I was doing the show sheet, doing the research and everything, my confidence was waning just little by little by little. By the end of it, I was like, man, I'm not feeling great.
Well, we're about to get to that with the next question, I think.
Is this the worst matchup for Dallas in the NFC?
For me, it's easily. For me, I'd rather match up against anyone else than that. Our DB. Give me Anthony Brown, Jordan Lewis, and let's roll. But Darren Bland and who against Tom Brady, Mike Evans, Julio Jones, Russell Gage, Godwin, like yikes, dude.
Yeah,
and then you look at the other side, and Dallas wants to be a run team. Like we know that's what they want to be, and even beat up our O-line, is not great. And now they're going against Vita Vea and Hicks. Like those two linebackers behind them, It's a nightmare matchup for Dallas. Not that I think they can't win it, but I would rather play anyone else right now than Tampa. I hate this matchup.
Yeah, Mike, plain and simple, yes, this is the worst possible matchup for Dallas. I mean, Tom Brady and those four receivers, dude, that's going to be a test to our secondary for sure.
It is going to be brutal. I'm hoping they can pull some stuff off to where that pass rush can get to and affect Tom Brady.
Yeah, I hope so, Mike. That makes two of us. We know that Tampa Bay has the depth at receiver, but is CeeDee Lamb the best receiver in this game?
When I saw the question, or was that one of mine or one of yours?
It was yours. I kind of reworded it, so I don't know if that was disrespectful or
no, not at all. No, please. You do the work. I don't do the work. When I read it, I was like, well, I mean, he's not better than Mike Evans. I go, he's probably better than Godwin. Then I looked at the numbers. I'm like, 107 receptions, 1,359 yards, 9 TDs for Lamb. Evans, 77, so 30 less catches, 1,124 yards, over 200 less yards, 6 touchdowns, 3 less touchdowns. Godwin has 104 catches, so he's Brady's underneath guy.
Yeah.
He's only 1,023 yards, and he's only 3 touchdowns. So the Lamb is the leader in catches. He's the leader in yards. He's the leader in touchdowns. And he don't have a wide receiver 2 like Evans, Godwin, let alone Russell Gage and Julio Jones. Like, every team goes into a matchup with Dallas going, let's try to take CD out of this game. And he still was 107, 13, 59, and 9. Like, that's a crazy year. So I'm going to say yes. Surprisingly, I think Lamb's the best receiver in this matchup.
Yeah, CD has more receptions, yards, and touchdowns, like you just stated there, Mike. But again, plain and simple, yes, CD is the best receiver in this game. I do think Mike Evans and Chris Godwin deserve a little bit more respect, though.
Yeah. Well, they've been better. They've had better careers, even Godwin. They've had better careers than CD Lamb. But we're talking right now, you know, there's a clear jump right there. And, you know, I heard all the smack talk, man. Mike Evans was just, he did not care. They got something because he was just on one, talking about our coverage is simplistic, how it don't really matter if they're healthy. It don't really matter who Cowboys DBs are. He was saying, like, Trayvon Diggs is cool. He ain't nothing special. I'm like, ooh, boy.
Bulletin board material, hopefully, man.
I hope so. Plaster that shit everywhere.
Yeah, Micah's already pretty hot. Hopefully he heard that and is ready to go off.
I know. I wish they wouldn't have brought out the all-pro teams already, the official ones.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I wanted that little extra chip from the players with that weird voting that they had to do for theirs. That was so weird that, like, edge rushers could only be chosen by, like, offensive tackles and other edge rushers or something, and you couldn't pick anybody from your own team. And in order to vote for them, you had to played against them. Yeah, that is a weird ass, like, super weird. So I mean, about that one.
That kind of makes sense, but at the same time, those votes shouldn't be the end all be all either.
Yeah, they're not. It's brand new. Like, the official All-Pro team, Micah Parsons made it first team. He was first team All-Pro.
Oh, okay. Well, that's all that matters, man.
Yeah, exactly. I just wish they would have waited till Tuesday.
Yeah, for sure. So, you know, we've talked about the strengths and weaknesses, Mike, but what is more of a concern to you, the Dallas offensive line or the secondary?
The secondary for sure. The thing that worries me about the O-line is that the coaching staff won't, you know, they're just going to do their halfback dive right into Vita Vea and Hicks. And we're like, all right, 2nd and 8, you know, that type of thing. But the worry is Tom Brady throwing to Godwin, Evans, Gage, and Julio Jones against whoever I don't even know who their third corner is. Nashawn Wright, maybe. You know, I don't know. So we'll have to see.
Maybe Xavier Rhodes, it sounds like, Mike.
It could be, but man, he just got here like 4 days ago. Like, I don't know how he could know the off. I think at best he'd rotate in.
All day, anybody listening to the fan, Bobby Bell, people connected to the Cowboys, you know, Brian Broad is saying that Xavier Rhodes is going to play a lot of snaps, apparently.
They may need him. I mean, I don't trust Nashawn Wright against Godwin, especially. That is a nasty matchup.
And we can't trust Kelvin Joseph against anybody either.
Oh, no, he's a special teamer now. He's done.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying. Oh, you think he's done? Wow.
Yeah, he'll be on our team next year. He'll be a special teams guy. He may replace Goodwin. That'd be it.
Shoot, man, a 2nd-round pick as your special teamer. That stinks, dude.
Hey, it's a lot better than what they've done on other on 2nd-round picks. Gavin Escobar and Jalen Smith, and you know, man, they've had so many bad ones. Tristan Hill, oof.
Hey, Jalen Smith, he's still in the league, man.
Yeah, I think he had like almost 100 tackles against the Giants, but still, that was a terrible pick.
Oh man, I'll never forget. What was his celebration? The rolling the dice or whatever that was, man. The swipe, yes, sir. Yeah. So sorry to get us off topic. Yeah, but more the concern for me, Mike, when it comes to the secondary and the offensive line, I'm worried about the O-line simply because we don't know when Dak we know when Dak isn't comfortable in the pocket, he doesn't pass the ball well. And if our run game can't get going, our offense becomes one-dimensional. And like we saw on Sunday, man, sometimes just non-existent.
I agree. Now, there was some stuff that came out about that. The team, even the Washington Commanders players were saying that Dallas was not trying. Like they were trying to escape that field without an injury was one of the things that was said.
Oh, I hadn't heard that. Okay.
Yeah, it was on the crossover Locked On Cowboys pod. They talked about how Washington players were saying that Dallas was not trying to win that game.
Oh, interesting. I heard that McCarthy said that all week the guys hadn't been practicing very well either, so I wasn't sure how much of that was a part of it. But knowing that, but I mean, that kind of does make sense. That's no excuse, but I mean, I'd rather them protect themselves over anything.
Yeah, they even the coordinators, which I don't love all this talk, like make the players stew in it, make them like, no, y'all played like shit. Don't give them excuses. But like Kellen Moore kind of alluded to the vanilla, and then Dan Quinn just came out and was like, yeah, for like the last 2 months, we kind of knew we were in the playoffs. And so I was just like, hey, let's try this stuff and see what teams do against it. And it's like, this isn't our like thing, but we're going to throw it out there and see how people counter it. And I was like, damn, that's crazy. So yeah, that was interesting. I don't love it, but it was interesting that the coordinator came out and said it.
Hey man, put out 2 months of bad film, dude. I don't hate that strategy.
Yeah, I would rather like have them keep their focus, not like throw out these excuses to the media for them, like, oh no, they're playing fine. Like we did this and that. Like, no, you play like shit. Step it up. I want some motivation. I want them motivated for Monday.
That's fair. Mike, we talked about the secondary. What do you think Al Harris can do to prevent our secondary from being exposed?
I've heard this said, I think by Brian Broaddus too. I would play some press against them. I'm not trying to give Brady the free 5 yards on a down and set him up for third and less than 5. Like, I'm not looking for that. So I'm getting up there pressing, trying to disrupt routes and trying to give your pass rush a little bit more time to get home and make them make some like more tight window throws.
Yeah. Mike, I wanted to ask you this question. Do we have the depth to play dime, and would that be a wise decision to do that against Brady in this wide receiver group?
If you're playing dime, you probably have a lot of safeties going and not corners. And I don't love Russell Gage up against Donovan Wilson,
Yeah.
So I would probably say no, we don't have the depth to do that right now.
Okay. I was just curious because I was thinking of ways that what Al Harris could do to kind of, again, prevent our secondary from being exposed. So, I was just kind of brainstorming.
If you got Diggs, Brown, Jordan Lewis, Deron Bland, now we're talking.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But not with the group we currently have, obviously.
No, I would avoid dime. Like we don't want to get 3 safeties deep in here.
All right, so we're going to transition here to some Bucks talk. What worries you more about the Buccaneers team? Like, is it their running game on offense or their pass rush?
Well, their run game was last in the league, and their pass rush was like bottom 5. But for me, again, it's about Brady getting short fields, and so the run game worries me because if they're able to run for like 4 yards a carry, or on a lot of first downs, get a lot to 7 and 6 and stuff, you're just setting up Brady for easy first down pickups. And so if you could get them to 2nd and 8 and 9, now you're talking they got to get some chunks to get out of that 3rd and 5. Instead of just little wing outs to the running back gets you 4 yards, and now it's 3rd and 2. You got to throw some real routes, some downfield routes, which is what we want to get him doing, ideally. So, Yeah, I'm going to say they need to stop the run game more.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with the pass rush. I want Dak protected. I want him comfortable in the pocket. We know what he can do when he is comfortable. When this offense can get going, well, I think our offense is going to be what sets us apart in this game. So I'm a little more worried about stopping their pass rush personally.
I agree with the offense being what sets us apart. I do agree with that.
Well, do you think looking at the pass rush, Mike, will the Cowboys win this game if the pass rush doesn't get to Brady?
I don't see how they could. They can't cover these guys. So if the pass rush isn't getting there, you're asking Xavier Rhodes to come in off the street 3 days and then defend people, and rookie Deron Bland to defend people. I'm not too worried about Diggs. He may give up a catch or two, but I think he'll be fine. But the other two scare me. So yeah, if they're not rushing Brady, it's going to be an issue.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, if we can't make Brady, uncomfortable and he has time and he can just kind of pick apart our secondary, which we know he'll be able to do if he has time. So yeah, we've got to force him. We got to make him uncomfortable.
I agree 100%, bro.
Well, do you think Dallas can win this game if Tampa's D-line puts pressure on Dak?
I think they can because one, Dak's been used to it kind of this year, he can scramble, so he has that ability to make plays out of the pocket. And just that's not, that he's had to win games where the pass rush has gotten to him. So he knows how to do it, especially if you try to blitz on him. He's been very good. Mm-hmm. So I would say it definitely hurts their chances, but it doesn't mean like, oh yeah, they're going to lose.
Yeah, Michael, when I was doing some research here for the pod tonight, I was looking at games where Dak has been sacked twice or more. He's 1-4 in those games. Oddly enough, in the game where he beat Philly on week 16, he got sacked 6 times. Yet we found a way to win that game. But man, if Dak is constantly getting pressured against this group, I don't think we can win this game.
Yeah, it would make it much more difficult. They really need to protect Dak because, especially you specifically said the D-line. If they're blitzing a lot, they may get home once in a while, but Dak can carve up a blitz. If their 4-man front is just getting to Dak and he has to throw against 7 people boxing, they don't have to blitz, then we might be in big trouble.
Yes, sir. Are you looking at this game, Mike? Are you more confident heading into this game? Or were you more confident heading into last year's game versus San Francisco?
Funny, I went in thinking we were going to blow out Jimmy G. I was like, nah, dude, we got them. This was me. Most people are the opposite way. They were scared to face the Niners in that run game and everything, and they turned out to be right. But me, I was like, their defense is good, but Dak's there. We'll score on it. And I don't think Jimmy G is going to get a lot of points on us. And, boy, I was wrong on that one.
Yeah, I didn't really like the matchup heading into San Francisco last year. And like I said earlier, the more and more I did research for the episode, my confidence was shrinking. So, yeah, I think it's about even. I don't know, something about the Cowboys being an underdog in this game. It kind of feels like that to me. I know a lot of people think we should blow Tampa out of the water. I don't agree with that, but this game does feel a little bit different. We're going to talk about it later, but I'm a little bit more confident in this game than I was last year.
Yeah, I don't know why. I know I'm the outlier, but last year I was like, bring on Jimmy G. I think we got this. And slap me in the face. They did Dallas.
Yeah, Mike, should Dallas win this game easily?
No, hell no. The matchup's bad. They have Tom Brady. No. What we like to do on offense or what we try to force, they're good at stopping. Mm-hmm. And then on the other end, our defensive backs are not great. And Tom Brady is Tom Brady. So, no, this should not be any kind of blowout.
Agreed. And that's kind of what it seems like people think is that we should just walk in there to Tampa and win this game because we're more talented and we're the better team. I think people are focusing a little bit too much on Tampa's record. I know that your record is who you are, but I don't think they're as bad as their record is.
I agree. They're I don't know if they can match up with the other big two teams or like AFC, NFC. If you put like Buffalo, Kansas City, Philly, 49ers, I don't know if they stand up to those teams, but they're definitely a bad matchup for Dallas.
Agreed, 100%. All right, Mike, here we are with our score prediction. What's your score prediction for this game?
All right, I'm going to surprise with all the talk. You probably think I'm going to pick Tampa Bay, bad matchup, this and that. But embarrassed team theory. Dallas got their butts whipped last week. I think they're going to come out motivated. I don't think Tampa's great. If they were like week 1 Tampa, I don't think it would matter. They would still find a way. But I think Dallas will get ahead early and then hold off Tom Brady. They'll win 31-20 is my score.
Oh, double-digit victory.
Yeah,
for me, Mike.
Need to be up. Don't let Brady. That's terrifying.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a high-scoring game. I think it's going to come down to the last couple of minutes. But I predicted last night on my fantasy show, I think Brett Maher kicks a game-winning field goal to end the game. 31-28.
Maha. And we'll have Skywalker. Yeah, Skywalker and Vach will be bringing out the M'Baku cry.
So, Mike, I know you wanted to predict the winners for the playoff games this weekend. So let's do that. Okay, first game, it's going to be San Francisco versus the Seahawks. Who do you got?
For next time, we'll do the other games first and save Dallas for last. Yeah, if Dallas makes it. Yes, I'm taking the 49ers to beat Seattle. I'm not that crazy.
Yeah, same here. I can't go against them. And Geno Smith's never been in the playoffs either. I don't think Seattle. They're a good story, but I think they still have at least another year or so before they're a really good team.
Yeah, I think Niners. It'll be a close game and everybody will be scared, but the Niners will pull away in the fourth, beat them down a little bit.
Okay, so game number 2 on Saturday. Los Angeles Chargers, Justin Herbert versus Trevor Lawrence and the Jacksonville Jaguars. Who you got?
Man, what a nice game. 2 young, could-be superstar quarterbacks going in the future. I'm going to take Jacksonville at home. I trust the coaching there. I've seen Doug Peterson take Nick Foles to a Super Bowl. And so I'm going coaching and taking Jaguars to beat the Chargers, and also I want the Chargers to lose for personal reasons.
Really? What are we allowed to discuss those on air?
You know what it is, but it can't be discussed on the podcast.
Oh, I got you. Jacksonville, yeah, I have Jacksonville winning this game too, man. I've been on Jacksonville the last couple of weeks, wanting them to get into the playoffs, and for the same reason, I think Doug Peterson is going to outcoach Brandon Staley.
Yeah, for me, it's Cowboys win, Jags win. Those are my 2 things for this weekend.
Yes, sir. Okay, so on Sunday, the first game, I mean, this is easy, Mike. Bills and Josh Allen versus Skylar Thompson and the Dolphins.
Bills.
Yeah, I got the Bills too. Afternoon, hey, the good one. This is Kirk Cousins and the New York Giants. It sounded like you might be going with the Vikings earlier, Mike.
Yeah. I think Vikings have heard enough about what a piece of shit they don't belong their team. That's basically what everybody. That's how everybody is. Like, yeah, get Minnesota out there. They're the team that went 7 or 6-10 and won their division because the division sucked. And so I'm like, they won like 12, 13 games. So yeah, I think Vikings will be pretty motivated and they're pretty talented. I think they're going to win.
Yeah, I'm agree with you, Mike. I think Vikings. I think their offense is going to be too much for Daniel Jones and the Giants' offense to match.
Hey, I hope no, I guess I don't want Giants to win either, but I part of me hopes they lose just because it's like one of the worst 12, 13 win teams of all time.
Right. Dude, can you imagine if the Giants won and the Cowboys lost, bro?
Yeah, because then you'd have Philly and the Giants. Washington whooped our ass in Week 18. The Giants and Philly made it further than us. And yeah, we'd have to hear it all friggin' off season.
That'd be terrible. Okay, this is another easy one, Mike. Joe Burrow and the Bengals versus Tyler Huntley and the Ravens.
Bengals.
That matchup's interesting to me though, just because the Ravens defense has been playing better. Of course, they don't have the weapons on offense, but that defense is good.
They'll play hard. Just Joey B will get to them in the end. But expect a John Harbaugh team to do something on special teams to make a big play, to get a big turnover that makes it closer than it is. But I feel at the end, Cincy will win by a score, probably more than 10 points.
Can you imagine this slate of games though if Tua and Lamar Jackson were healthy? Man, what a great day of football that would be, dude.
God, it would be incredible because if Tua's legit healthy, didn't they beat the Bills twice or beat them once and
1-1?
Yeah, played them to the wire or the other one, like maybe overtime even. Like it, if they have Tua, it's a different story. And then of course, like you said, Lamar Jackson in there, who the hell knows? I might pick the Ravens. I probably would pick Burrow, but they're a different team when they have that athlete back there playing quarterback.
Absolutely. Well, Mike, man, as always, I enjoy the discussion. Before we get you out of here, remind the people where they can find you on Twitter, sir.
Letter C, letter D. It's not CD Lamb. Doesn't have nothing to do with that. I was the original CD Piglet.
Nice and easy, right?
Nice and easy.
Guys, I'm Paul Ryan. You can find me on Twitter at Paul_Ryan15. We appreciate you joining us, and we'll see you guys next week.
That's why mine's nice and easy. Don't have the underscore and the 15 and all that.
I'm not changing it. I'm not Hype Finest.